If you were given an instruction manual, but a portion of the middle was missing, would you still be able to come up with the same finished product? Possibly, but for sure not very easily. How about a recipe? What if you were told to make a souffle, but the middle of the recipe was cut out? How difficult would it be to come up with what's expected? Difficult? How about the Bible? There's a theme that runs through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, that most of the world has either forgotten or chosen to ignore. But to do that, we might as well take Genesis, Exodus, Psalms, for sure Isaiah. Who are we kidding? Just toss out the Old Testament. For some, that's not too big of a deal. But you've got to let's take Galatians, Ephesians, Philippians, and let's see. Philemon, and 2nd and 3rd John. And that's what you have left without this theme, conservatively. What is this theme? The sanctuary. What is a sanctuary? In Exodus 25, verse 8, we first hear its mention. And let them make me a sanctuary that I might dwell among them. During the time of the Israelites' wanderings through the wilderness, they carried with them a portable temple where they would worship God. Since the beginning of the Garden of Eden, that has always been God's desire, to dwell among his people. But see, God had a problem: sin. When Adam and Eve sinned, they could not dwell in his presence any longer without being consumed by his holiness. God cannot let evil exist and be considered good. If there was a button that you could press that would end all the evil in this world, no more wars, poverty, fighting, rape, orphans, famines, adultery, list goes on, would you press that button? I wish I could press that button, but if I did, I would most likely be destroyed. So would you. I don't want that. God doesn't want that either. And that's God's problem. God hates sin and evil just as much as we do. If anything, more than we do. But if God destroys sin, he destroys those he loves the most, you and me. God loves a sinner, but he hates the sin. So how does a God of love live in the presence of those he loves without destroying them? And that's where the sanctuary comes in. Also known as the tabernacle, the sanctuary was the physical dwelling of God's presence, but it also laid out the plan of redemption. It shows us how God gets rid of evil, pain, sin in this universe without destroying the sinner. God laid the way back to his presence, and every piece is an object lesson about the path of salvation. Psalm 77, verse 13 says, "Your way, O God, is in the sanctuary. Who is so great a God as our God?" 2,000 years ago, someone said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." John 14:6. As we go through the series, we're going to see and examine how the sanctuary, all the way from Genesis through Revelation, points to Jesus. Teaching about the path of salvation from the time of Jesus' death on the cross, all the way to what Jesus is doing right now at this very second. So really, to ignore the sanctuary, well, we'd really need to toss all this out too.